Hi everyone, and welcome again to Boosterfeld Sewing. So today is going to be the first actual make here on the channel, and if there is one thing I have always had a deep and real connection with, it's Halloween. And the costumes didn't just come out once a year. I was playing in them all the time. And if there is one thing I loved most, it was a cape. And still do. If there's a movie or something I'm watching and there's capes involved, you've got my attention. And so I thought, what better way to kick off this channel than to make something I have always wanted, which is a actual heavy, proper cape or cloak. And so that's what we're going to be doing. And I'm going to be making it on Frida. It's from 1903, and the cape I'm making is roughly from the Edwardian area, so it's a perfect fit. So anyway, let's get to it. Okay, so when it came to designing capes, I initially came up with 3 ideas. Number 1 is the one that I settled on, and when I put it to a poll on my socials, this is the one that people also gravitated to. Now, I quickly realized that, the more I thought about it, if you're wearing this and a breeze comes up, this center flap here, and potentially these 2 separate flaps, are just going to be flip-flopping all over the place and become very annoying very quickly. So I thought, oh, well, I'll just put a little belt that goes around the back from each side, and it will secure it in place. And I thought, okay, that's cool, that's what I'll do. Then, I forget why, but I went looking through my file on my computer of sewing inspiration kind of things, and I found this pattern. And I know showing it on the laptop like this isn't ideal, but I don't have a printer. I found this Cavalier cape here. This pattern was published in Thornton's International System, and I think it dates to the Edwardian period, maybe 1912. I couldn't quite find a real date for it. This is floating all over the internet. So anyway, I thought, look at this. This is much cooler than what I had come up with, but it's the same sort of idea where you have a center panel and a little belt in the back to secure it in place. But this is a much more elegant idea with the sham vest. Now, I'm doing my sham vest a bit differently. It's going to look a little more like a traditional vest sort of shape, because this style I don't think would look very good on me. It's obviously meant for someone with a fuller bosom than I. But anyway, that is the pattern I went with, except for the sham vest. I kind of just did my own thing. But yeah, let's get to it. All right, let's talk materials. So I got my pattern, which I drafted the other day. It took like 7 hours, but I got it done in one day. And I didn't film the process because I didn't think watching me crawl around the kitchen floor would be very interesting plotting points. I got some beautiful black 100% wool. I'm very excited to work with this. That was kind of my splurge. And then after that, I had to put my dreams of doing it all in natural fiber to the side because of budgetary reasons. But yes, very, very lovely stuff. Then for the lining, I got this, it's polyester. Would have loved to use silk, but like I say, we're running on a budget. I got this black polyester lining. It is very nice stuff. I've worked with it before. And it irons really well. It washes nicely. So I think it'll do a good job. And then for the collar, the top of the collar, I got this velvety upholstery fabric. So I'm hoping it will wear really well because I have an idea in my head that upholstery fabric, should last, should be a bit durable. And it's really nice and velvety, so I think that'll be nice for the top collar. And then I got some of this horsehair canvas for the vest to give it a bit more structure. Now, I didn't notice this until I got home, but it's a fusible horsehair canvas. So that's going to be interesting to work with. These are, I love anything that has like vines and oak leaves and that sort of like anything that basically an elf would wear. I'm very into it, like nature-based stuff. And so I found these buttons and I've sort of been holding them on for a special use. And I think these will be the decorative buttons on the Cavalier cape. And then for the vest, I picked up these buttons initially, and then I found these, which is more of what I wanted in the first place, because, you know, they're a nice round glossy dome just like this. So I think I'll go with these, and then this might end up being used at the back where the belt is. So these are the materials I'm working with, and I think now I can lay down the fabrics and start marking and cutting them out. So I just finished pinning down the pattern pieces and tracing them out and then adding a seam allowance. And I gotta say, maybe I'm getting old, but this was exhausting. More so than it usually is. But at least now we can cut it out and get to a little bit of sewing. Okay, so the front of the vest has been cut out and the darts put in. And I also just finished putting in the fusible horsehair canvas. And I gotta say, it bonded really well. And that's not always the case with fusible interfacing. Sometimes it just does not want to stick, but this adhered really well. And so now that those have been given a little more structure, I'm going to go ahead and put in the double welt pockets. I've never done that before, but I've looked it up and it looks feasible. So let's give it a go. So I've come to the end of day one of sewing the Cavalier cape, and I can't tell you the amount of times I picked, unpicked, sewed, unsewed, etc. these pockets. I must have done them, I don't know, at least 3 times each, at least, trying to get them even. It is my first time doing welt pockets, and I decided after the failure of the double welt pocket attempts that I would try just single. And I think I've gotten them pretty even now and looking good. I'm just going to put one more up here, as I have seen that done in many of the Edwardian men's waistcoats that I've been looking at. And I think that's it for today. Good morning all, it's day 2 and I forgot to check in before I started, but I think I'm getting a hang of these welt pockets. This one has turned out the best so far. This just needs to be pressed under, I think. But they're turning out great. So now I have to decide whether or not I want to add in a little bit of padding in the shoulder to breast here, to remove that sort of dip that naturally happens and make it look more smooth. Can't really decide if I want to or not. But yeah, then afterwards, we're getting pretty close to the end. So I don't like the term half-assed, but is there anything better that describes my pad stitching here? I don't really think so, but it does the trick. It holds them in place, And I didn't go through to the back. You can kind of see where, like, maybe I pulled too tightly. I don't know. You can kind of see a little bit where there's a bit of a pull, but I don't think it's too noticeable, especially like maybe a little shot with an iron and it'll be fine. I don't know, but I gave it a go. It did look much nicer with a bit of padding than it did without. So I went for it. I tried it, sort of. Could have tried harder, I guess. Oh well, it works. All right, so check-in time. I did some top stitching around the vest and it is looking so good. I love how we have just this tiny little fork here. It wasn't necessarily intentional, but in a lot of the Edwardian vests I was looking at, if they do have a fork, it is just a tiny little thing like this. So that's a happy accident. The curves along here turned out really nicely. And I'm just going to be marking where the buttons are going in now. And I got the collar on the lining. Feels so nice. And so once I put the buttons in, I can make a little belt and gauge like how big that belt should be. And then once I put that in, it's just putting the outer and the lining together, pretty much. So here's how it turned out. I am so happy with it. It fits great. I did have to add some straps up at the back of the sham vest to keep it more in place. I feel like if I were to do anything different, I would have just made a full vest to go underneath it, because the sham vest, the little belt at the back, doesn't quite keep everything as snug and in place as I would like it. That's why I had to add a couple more bands across the back. But otherwise, I'm very happy with it. It's very spooky and fabulous. I'm very happy with the upper collar. It's so velvety and nice. I think it turned out great. I love the quality of the material. It is so nice. It does give off a lot of lint, though I'm hoping, you know, a few times out and about, it will shake off a bunch of the excess fibers. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and share if you know anyone who might enjoy this video. I post new videos every Friday. Thanks so much for watching.